What's going? Wow, my man is here first. My guy Joseph, what's going on, man? He said 15 days until the pitch train arrives in Dallas. Choo choo, that's hilarious. What's going on, man? Look, I just popped on, and my man pops out with the cow pits. Arrives in Dallas. Look, I would love that. Today we're gonna talk a little bit of safety. We might go. We'll probably talk tight ends a little bit later. But what I really wanted to do was dive into Dane Brugler's draft guide. That came out a couple of days ago, and as you guys know, Dane Brugler. He's somebody that's been, not necessarily a Cowboy homer, but the draft show and all of the coverage and stuff. Dane Brugler has been every step of the way for the last couple of years. What's going on, Randall? How you doing? What's going on, Sandman? What's going on? How you doing? Yeah, so we're gonna dive into that in a little bit. I'm just gonna let a couple more people come in, man. If y'all got any questions about safeties right now, let me know. We really gonna just touch on more than anything the top 10, and we'll see the top 10 list, and we'll talk about some of those guys. What's going on? Christopher, what's going on, man? How you doing? Chilling. Yeah, so let me share my screen a little bit right now. I'm gonna share my screen. Let's get into it. Actually, let's see, Chrome tab, share. All right, bet. So look, this is the draft guide. If you guys actually want a copy of it, you can hit me, or you can hit me on my email at DMV Dallas Cowboy at gmail.com. Sorry, DMV Dallas Cowboys at gmail.com. Or, what I'm saying, like, you really can just, subscribe to the Athletic. That's where they have it there. Man, this is a 267 page document. 267 page document. So since I have to be off my screen, let me, open this up on my phone so that I can kind of answer any questions that anybody has. So give me 1 second here, guys. 1 second. Randall Harris says we have more needs than pits. Yeah, but tight end is a need. It's a need that that people don't want to talk about. But we're not here to talk about the tight end need. We'll get that another time. Yeah, nah, bro. I'm not gonna put you on no live video, man, because I don't even know who you are. So I ain't putting you on no live video. Just keep it 100. All right, so yeah, Joseph Sandberg, I have the beast, man. So I'm going through it right now, and this is actually my first day with it. So, I'm digesting it a little bit. A lot of these names that I do know, I've had a chance to look them up. Richie Grant was actually number 1 on his list here. It might have something to do with the center field ability. Trayvon Merrick is his number 2. These are guys that I did videos on. So if you go through my channel, you can go see my video on Richie Grant, Merrick. I did not do one on Javon Holland. It actually surprises me that he's number 3 on this list. He's not number 3 on my list, and I'll explain a little bit later. Hamza Nasruddin from Florida State, pretty good safety. Andre Cisco from Syracuse, a pretty good safety. Jamar Johnson, I was not familiar with him, but I got a chance to watch him a little bit before we jumped on here. I kind of like him a little bit. I kind of like his abilities. I'll touch on it. Devon Diablo, he from Virginia Tech. He reminds me of another Hokie, and I'll explain that a little bit later. Ardarius Washington, TCU. I would have had him a little bit higher on my list. Yeah, man, Roscoe, Renzo, I know who you are, man. Yeah, bro, I know who you are, bro. Yeah, and number 9, Tyreek Gillespie. I probably would have had him a little bit higher on this list, but he has him at number 9. And then I don't know how to say his name. Talanoa Hufanga from USC. The Samoan kid, man. Look, dude with the long ass hair who's explosive. He's there. And James Wiggins is number 11, but we're gonna keep it top 10 here, top 10. But you know what? Like, before I jump into the top 10 here. there's some notable names here that are really down the list for Dane Brugler here. Caden Stearns is number 14, which, I'm surprised because I hear so much about him. I've seen a little bit of his tape. DeMar Hamlin from Pittsburgh is number 17. Richard LeCounte, I don't even know how to say his name. LeCounte, I think it's LeCounte, from Georgia, number 18. And Paris Ford is number 25, man. I did not know my man ran a 4.8, bro. He might not get drafted. And, he got some skill. So, that surprised me a little bit. But surprise, man, really, Richie Grant really is probably the best center. He probably, as far as a Swiss knife goes, as far as everything offering at the safety position, a guy that can play the box, but he could also play center field. I think Richie's the best center fielder out of everybody, really. And that's why you make him number one, because not everybody has that ability. Not everybody has that flexibility to do the things that Richie can. So you can kind of, disguise coverages and things of that nature. I was expecting him to be a little bit more faster than a 4.54. But what I will say is he's a smart guy, and he's in the right places. I think that he could be a little bit better at some of his angles and things of that nature, but nobody's perfect. No prospect is perfect. Trayvon Merrick, I really like him a lot. I think that he's almost as good as Richie Grant. I honestly, they're about 1A, 1B. It's really not that. They're really not that far apart from me. As far as the Cowboys go in their needs, I think Richie Grant would go above Merrick, but just depending on the system. Like if I was Washington or something like that, I would take Merrick over Grant. So it really just depends on your system and what you really need. Holland being number 3. To me, I really don't see any range with Holland. I see a guy that can cover curl to flats, hook to curl, but I don't see anybody that I want over top of anybody on the hash. I damn sure don't want him center field. Damn sure don't. He's a guy that can kind of get stuck in the mud, get caught, looking in the backfield, things of that nature, and guys can just run right by him. If you watch his tape, he's a guy who got a lot of picks, but a lot of it was kind of, thrown right to him. But, with these speedy receivers, these crafty receivers in the NFL now, I really just don't see it. Like the guy behind him, Hamza Nasruddin, I think is better than Holland. Because I think that he has range, but I also think he's a better tackler than Holland is as well. So it really surprises me that Holland is this high on the list. Maybe Dane has had some tape that I haven't been privy to, but I've seen enough tape of Holland to know that I really just don't trust him as far as being the guy that's over top of anybody in coverage. Now, if you're looking for, that linebacker, that will linebacker type hybrid that they're talking about now, that they're making a lot of safeties, I could definitely see a role for him there. But we're talking top safeties. So there's guys that can cover in space better than him, like Andre Sisco, better in space than him. From what I've seen, Jamar Johnson, better in space. In my opinion, Diablo is better in space. Definitely Washington. I mean, any list that has Javon Holland over Washington, yeah, I'm going to dog Dane Brugler a little bit for this because, Washington is clearly a better football player than Holland. Clearly a better football player. Clearly a better safety. I'm not sure what Dane is watching, but anybody else that I've watched that has been pretty notable. My guy Vach will probably tell you that. Washington is better than Holland. I'm almost certain that Vach put out a tweet like, what's a good Javon Holland game that you want me to go look at? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't want to dog anybody because I do think that there's a role for Javon Holland in this league, but number 3 on this list is very questionable. I'd rather have Tyree Gillespie than Javon Holland because I believe that Gillespie, well, I'm talking about specifically for the Cowboys. Maybe Javon Holland fits some other scheme and he's higher on your board like we talk about, but I just think that Tyree Gillespie could do a little bit more. Like, and if I really was gonna have somebody do that role, looking at the number 10 guy from USC, Talanoa I'm not even going to try and butcher his name. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to call him the kid from USC. He's very explosive, very good tackler. You know, I might have Holland a little bit higher than him, but I mean, as far as value goes, like he got him in the second or the third. Like I would rather get the I would rather get the kid from USC in the fourth or the fifth and get me a better player. I'm not trying to dog. I'm not trying to dog Dane because I think Dane does a great job with his draft analysis and things of that nature. But I got to be real, man. I'm not going to sugarcoat things just because people want to hear it. But Devon Diablo. Well, let me keep going down the list, man. Andre Cisco. I think that he could be a wild card, really just depending on where he goes. I think that he's a really good player. And, he's a guy that's really, really hard to kind of determine how good he is just based on the fact that he played at Syracuse in the conference that they play in. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really tough to determine. I don't think that Andre is as good as Hamza, Trayvon, Richie, but I do think that he's right on up there, or he's right behind him. It ain't that far, So, would I like an Andre Cisco on my team? Absolutely. He's explosive. I like the way that he tackles. I like the way that he, I think that he can improve coming downhill a little bit with his angles and things of that nature. But I do like him a lot. If the Cowboys were to pick him in the mid rounds, I wouldn't be upset at all. Jamar Johnson, the same thing with him. Devon Diablo, though, the hokey that he reminds me of is Cam Chancellor. If you look at his stature, if you look at how he hits guys, if you look at his ability to play in the box, and you look at his ability to play on the hash, he looks just like him. He wears number 17, and he's just physically imposing out there. If you look like 226, you know what I'm saying? He's already bigger than damn JOK, and speaking to JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, there's a reason that he's not on this list. Now, I know that a lot of people are talking about moving him to safety. I just don't see it because I see these guys that they're better safeties than he would be. That would be a high-ass project that you're drafting just to move him to safety when you could just go ahead and get you Trayvon Merrick. Like, why would that make sense for you to draft a linebacker to play your safety when you could just go ahead and get a safety to do it? And they're better at the position. Hamza Nasruddin is going to be better at that role than JOK. You know what I'm saying? Andre Cisco is going to be better at that role than JOK. Just keep JOK at linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's trying to be creative and act like they got this eye for talent and this and that. And they're looking at his measurables and seeing that he's only 220. But, at the end of the day, what is he? He's a linebacker. He fills the gaps. The only difference is he's a guy that's able to cover some of those guys. That doesn't mean he's a safety. You guys have never seen him play on the hash. You guys have never seen him play center field. So why are you automatically trying to make him a project safety? It doesn't make sense. But, it is what it is, man. Let me address some of the questions, man. We talked about safety a little bit. Yeah, my guy Renzo. Yeah, you knew it, man. You knew I was talking about Cam Chancellor because if you get a chance to really look at him, that's what he looks like, man. He'll deliver the boom just like him. Let's look and see. Joseph Sandberg says Richie Grant also fits all coverages, game speed faster than 40 time. Yeah, I agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. DMV, I like that. DMV's J. Romes. I just need the best hitter who's decent at covering. I'm going to disagree with that, man, because I just kind of need somebody that's going to fit, man, because we didn't have that, X Woods was supposed to be that, you know what I'm saying? Just give me a guy that's rangy, that could be in the right spot, that can, just do his job. That's all I really need. You know what I'm saying? Like, we haven't had a safety back there to really do his job. We've had guys that we've tried to make projects. We've had the hitter back there. We've had J.J. Wilcox. you know what I'm saying, who was considered somebody that was a project, and they didn't know that he wasn't as decent at covering, but we've had that, you know what I'm saying? But the guy that you're talking about, if you're talking about that, is Richie Grant, Trayvon Merrick. I mean, all of those guys, you know, Andre Cisco. So, I mean, it's really tough to say, you know. Richie Grant fits all coverages, game speed. We already read that one. Joseph says Cowboys love Merrick. You know, I love Merrick too, man. Like I told you, he's 1B to me. Richie Grant 1A, Merrick 1B. And you know that might even change. Like to me, I think Merrick is probably up on boards higher than what Richie Grant is. But I will say I agree with Dane Brugler having Richie Grant as number one, just because I believe he's a little bit more, just a smidge more versatile. See, Butler is still out there. We not get that easy help. I'm not sure who he's talking about. Butler who? You know, be more specific to me. Holland might be a nickel, maybe big nickel. Yeah, exactly, Joseph. So for a big nickel, like why am I putting him as number 3 overall when I got guys that can cover the hash, guys that can somewhat do center field ability? Andre Cisco. Like why would I put him in front of Andre Cisco? Why would I put him in front of Nazaruddin? You know, why would I put him in front of Washington? That makes no sense, bro. I mean, they really got to stop this crap about, you know, size and really just get into now maybe it's about the prospect. It could be just about the prospect and why he has it listed that way. Possibly. Maybe it's that way where it's scheduled to where they might get picked. I still don't see Javon Holland. Maybe I don't know. Maybe a team does pick him higher than those guys, but they, in my opinion, they'd be making a mistake. And a guy like Washington would end up being like a Bob Sanders, because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean that's really the comparison to me with Washington is Bob Sanders. You know, I think Bob Sanders was faster, but Bob Sanders could do everything and be around the football and just had that sixth sense, if you know what I mean. Joseph Sandberg said, keep JOK at will linebacker, but he would be a fantastic will linebacker. Most defensive snaps are nickel, doesn't get fooled on misdirection. Absolutely. That's all I'm saying, Joseph. Just keep him at will linebacker, but don't explore with the trying to make him a safety thing like that. I mean, in my opinion, just keep him at will and let him do what he does, you know. Randall Harris asked the question, what round do we pick a safety? That, in my opinion, I think the window is the second round. That's what I would do. I don't think it's first round unless we trade back to the late first round. And in that case, I'm going with Merrick. In that case, you know what I'm saying, like Merrick, or you know, it just depends. Like if you, I don't know if they like Richie Grant enough. I do know that they like Merrick. I do know that they like Washington. There's a reason that they came and Joe Witt worked out both Washington and Merrick at their pro day. So I think it's something to be said about the TCU guys. Hopefully, to me, if you ask me, I don't think you can go wrong with either safety there, really. Washington's probably the better safety, but I think Merrick will make the better pro, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? What do I think about James Wiggins? I'll be honest with you. I've seen a little bit of his tape, and I wasn't really like wowed by him. You know what I'm saying? Like, was he somebody that I want on the Cowboys? Not over anybody that's named, to be honest with you. But let's look at, I'll do you one better. Let's look at what Dane said about him. So he was number 11, I believe. Yeah, man. Like I said, if you guys, you know, just go ahead and subscribe to The Athletic, and you guys can get a copy of this. They have a free trial right now, so just, you know, go ahead and get you the free trial, and you can go ahead and you can get this. You can get this. All right. So James Wiggins. Let's see, strengths: average frame, but rocked up. Doesn't lack for physicality. Takes sound angles in the run game. Boasts a high batting average as a tackler, coming to balance and striking through his target. Excellent time, speed, and rangy in the half field game. Understands situation, trusts his vision. Agile at the top of routes to break with receivers and challenge the catch point. Times his contact to arrive with the football, has kick return experience, averaging 20.9. Cincinnati coaches glow when they talk about his intelligence and reliability. 3 of his 4 interceptions in 2018 were game-winning plays. So that means he has a clutch. He's clutch. So I like that. Impressive feats in the weight room, including 725-pound squat, known as fast healer, as he recovered from 2019 ACL injury in less than 5 months. Okay. Weaknesses: needs to do a better job avoiding blockers when flying downhill. Shows a lack of burst and man-to-man coverage, which makes him late to recover. Has a slight hitch, changing directions out of his pedal. Room to improve his awareness when tackling multiple routes. Questionable durability after suffering a torn ACL in his left knee 2 days before the season opener. Re-injured left knee after falling down the stairs in the offseason, tearing his meniscus and requiring another surgery. Left the 2020 AAC championship game with non-contact calf injury, missing the bowl game and the Senior Bowl. Will be 24 years on draft weekend. So the things going against him are injuries and really his age. But other than that, it pretty much sounds like he's a sound player. Strong guy. Seems like a pretty good athlete. Let me go up and see what his measurables were. Because Dane does a good job of lining this stuff up, like 40 time, size, all of that stuff. So yeah, this draft guide it's definitely it's definitely I was excited to know that it came out. I was looking for it for a while because it gives you an opportunity to go and look for guys that you wouldn't have looked for before. Like for the most part, the top 10 guys I've had a chance to look at them, but it gives you a feel for small school guys. And being that there's no combine this year, and all we have to rely on is pro days, it's helpful to have guys like this so that you don't get lost in the shuffle. And to be honest with you, it was really hard trying to figure out who was who or who's coming out, who's deciding to go back to college because of the whole COVID situation. So let's the Wiggins. He ran a 4.41. He's 5'11", 209. So yeah, he's a little. I mean, I don't know if you want to consider. I guess 209 is not light. It's not light. You know what I'm saying? And like they said, he's going to be 24 years old. So, you got to kind of think about that. Let's see. Joseph. Let's see. My guy Renzo Roscoe Wesley, 2nd round for safety, but if Pitts is there at the first, take him. If not, go corner. I'm not a big proponent of taking the corner at number 10, to be honest with you, because when I break down the corners, the corner class is even deeper than the safeties. I think offense needs to be the number 10 pick, personally, just for value. I don't really see a defensive player better than the offensive players that'll probably be there. Considering the quarterbacks are going to go off the board and at least 4 are probably going to go before number 10, you're going to get a really good offensive player that's going to be around for a long time. So you never want to pass up on guys that'll be there 8 to 10 years. And as our track record has shown, defensive players for the most part, especially in the first round when we draft them, they don't make it past the first contract. Now, we're talking 2nd round defensive players. They definitely do. DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, Sean Lee, Jalen Smith. And that's just to name a few, of the 2nd round guys that we have that are impact guys. So just keep that in mind. No disrespect to JOK, could be Devin White impact. Yeah, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that. Devin White played his role in the Super Bowl, and actually he had a pretty good playoffs in my opinion. They don't win the Super Bowl in my opinion without him. I think that he did a hell of a job making it tough on Kelsey, making it tough on Mahomes, but also that defensive line did a good job as well. So yeah, and I know that it's not a player comparison, but I got what you were saying. Let's see. Jeremy Jeremy Anello says, I think Horn is a lockdown week one, especially in Quinn's system. I agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that. And if there was a defensive player that I would take at 10, with all of the guys that I really like off the board, I would take Horn. I would take Horn. He's my first corner that I would take. And I wouldn't be mad at Surtain either. I wouldn't be mad at that. The offensive guys though I'm thinking about are, obviously Pitts, Slater, Sewell. Um, I'm not. I wouldn't. I wouldn't necessarily pick Waddle over Horn, but I could definitely see why they would. I wouldn't take Waddle, but if Chase is there, if somehow Chase falls, I got Chase above them. And I think now I know it sounds crazy, but it had to be the right wide receiver in order for me to take him at 10, because we have 5 expiring contracts, as my guy Space Cowboy brought out on the show last week on the Around the Nation. So knowing that, that's a bit of a concern. You'd be drafting that receiver to be here for a while. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, any more questions, guys? I'll probably, let's see. Jeremy says, yeah, if Pitts slides to 10, I'll take him. Yeah. He's number 1 on my board. Number 1 on my board, for who will be there. And I'm not sure. I didn't get a chance to look at Dane's top 100. Quite honestly, we'll probably just go through the list without really looking at who's what right now, and we can kind of do shows like this where we can kind of have a little bit of feedback, and then it'll make me go back and do some more film study and guys that I don't know about that are considered top 10, because when you'll get a gist of the draft when you pretty much look at the top 10 at each position. With tackle, you're probably looking at top 20. Defensive lineman, you're actually going to look at a lot of them, honestly. Because at some point, edge is going to be, it's going to go. There's going to be a lot of edge guys that go. So let's see if we have any more questions, man. I kind of want to end at the 30-minute mark, and we're at 27:26. Joshua Palmer says, what do you think about moving Dorrance Armstrong to linebacker? That's a big no, because for one, we need the depth at the edge. And I think that the depth right now, I think the way that we have it right now, we could probably use maybe one more guy, but I wouldn't take him off the edge. I wouldn't. And remember, in Quinn's scheme, it's more so 4 down. It's going to be 4 down linemen. So that depth is going to be very important, because you never know about injuries, but I think Dorrance is pretty solid at his job, and being a depth guy. So I would keep him down. I wouldn't move him to linebacker. And they brought in, I think they have a plan for linebacker. They just signed Neal to an official contract today, so he's gonna be wearing number 42. So they have a plan for the linebacker position, and I'm excited to see what they do in the draft, because that's going to have to be a position that they address there as well. And there's some pretty good linebackers out there, man. Like I already mentioned, JOK. I really like the Browning kid out of Ohio State. We're talking about Will backers, though, like not necessarily Mike's. I don't think we need a Mike backer. I think we need a Will. So JOK, I think that Browning could play Will, from some of the things that I saw in the Senior Bowl. Roscoe Wesley, should we have brought back Alden Smith? In my opinion, I thought so. But you never know, man. Look, he's still out there looking for a team. I know that Seattle is interested right now. So he doesn't have a team. So maybe after the draft, you bring him back. Maybe that was the plan all along, to keep him out there, see what you draft, and then you can bring him back for cheap. So if they can do that, that would be dope. I wouldn't say that the writing's on the wall for Alden Smith yet. Although, it said, the Cowboys said this and said that, but, they might have just did all of that so they can bring him back for cheap. We're a cheap franchise, man. You know how it goes, man. But yeah, we're coming up on that 30 minutes, man. And, I just want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. I plan on doing another one of these, maybe with my boy Elton. I'll have him tune in and we could talk some of these prospects. I'm supposed to be doing a show tomorrow night with my guy Space Cowboys. So you guys be on the lookout for that. Space Cowboy 17. He has really good content, very, very sharp football mind. So, I can't wait to, get on that with him. And, guys, it's crunch time, man. Look, my season's over. I am repping, the Wakefield Warriors stuff. We lost last week, but, it is draft time. And you guys know what that is for me, man. And, I'll be at Mark Holmes' house probably on Friday, hopefully. I was going to surprise him, but, I'll just say it anyway because, he's been waiting for me to get on that new set anyway. So, I'll see what it's talk about when we get over there. And, we'll have a good old time. But, yeah, man, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. And make sure, you go check out my videos, man, because while we broke down safety today, I did a good chunk of those safeties. I did videos on them. So go ahead, check them out, man, if you haven't already checked them out. The ones that stand out to me specifically are Richie Grant and Trayvon Merritt. You know what I'm saying? Go check them out. All right, y'all. I'm going to give y'all a salute. I got to pay homage to my guy, Botch. And, we're gonna head on out. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell each time I come out with content. Peace.